Welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee for 107.5 WPLS. You are watching Bronx Nets Open, and we've got you covered like a blanket. We say that because we go around giving out blankets to people in need in our community. Our next guest is the Executive Director of Center for an Urban Future. He's here today to share some promising information that may impact the enrollment status for part-time CUNY college students. So please welcome to the show, Jonathan Bowles. Jonathan, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, Jonathan, tell us, growing up in New York City's economy and boosting the number of middle-income jobs is one of the things that you're doing with your organization?
Absolutely. We focus on how do we build a more equitable economy in New York. We know that the city has had a lot of jobs created in recent years, but the prosperity has not spread equally across the city. And so we've been really looking at what are specific things that folks in city and state government can do to increase economic opportunity, to help more people get on the path to the middle class. And just this week, we did a study focusing on a really great opportunity for New York, and that is to extend the state's tuition assistance program for part-time CUNY students. We know how important CUNY is for economic mobility in New York, and the problem is that a lot of New Yorkers can't set aside work or family responsibilities to go full-time. Mm-hmm. It's just too darn difficult for them to do so. But for a long time, the state has penalized those students and not made them eligible for the state's otherwise very generous tuition assistance program. And our report is really kind of highlighting why that needs to change. We found that there are 79,000 CUNY students across the 5 boroughs that are going on a part-time basis. That's a lot of students. In the Bronx, it's 12,000 students just in this borough. If we can extend the TAP, the tuition assistance program, to these part-time students, we're going to greatly increase their chances of actually making it to graduation and earning a credential.
So you only get the TAP if you're fully matriculated, but if you're part-time, it's not extended. How do we make that happen? What can we do?
Yeah, well, there's a great opportunity this year, and the reason we did this report is that in January, Governor Hochul made a big proposal to extend the tuition assistance program to part-time students. It used to be, actually it is still the case, that you don't qualify if you haven't taken 24 credits in the last year. And that rate basically is a full-time load of courses. Basically, it means like 12 courses in each of the 2 last semesters. And she's proposed changing that and making it so that as long as you have 6 credits in the current semester, you can qualify for this generous tuition assistance that the state has. That means most part-time students will be able to take part in this. And that's going to help them stay in school, because tuition assistance, we know how expensive it is, not just with the tuition, with all sorts of other costs. Getting this help will help them stay in school and help them to kind of stay along the path to get that credential.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us used it in the past. I mean, when I attended the New York Institute of Technology, I used it back then. And yeah, it's very much needed for sure.
And I can't just say enough, this is about CUNY, it's about helping students, but look, the bigger picture here is that we need to build a more equitable economy. There are things that we can do on the short term, and there are longer term investments we ought to make. And one is we need to improve the number or expand the number of New Yorkers that earn a college credential, because in today's economy, so many of the good paying jobs require some kind of a credential, maybe not all a bachelor's degree, but at least an associate's degree, or in some cases, a lot more than that. And we're not there yet. Citywide, just 41% of New York City residents of adults have a bachelor's degree. And in the Bronx, it's only 21%. We need to move the needle on those. And there's a lot of students that recognize how important that degree is. They are enrolling in CUNY, but many can't afford to do so on a full-time basis, and we should not penalize those students.
Yeah. How might this impact enrollment rates and graduation rates, even during the pandemic? Has touched it, or did it help it or hurt it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a great question because like it's not just about getting folks to enroll in CUNY. I think the challenge has been that too few of the students who do enroll actually make it all the way to the finish line and earn a credential, especially for the community colleges in the city. For community colleges, the graduation rate is around 30%. And so that means that the vast majority of people who are enrolling in community colleges don't actually get that piece of paper that helps so much with getting a good job. And so, you know, in the pandemic, you're right to ask, enrollment trends have gone down, and, you know, it's been that much harder. You know, people need to make some money. People have lost their jobs, and people have often said, okay, I'm going to sacrifice my college right now because I just got to get a job and make some money right now, support my family. But this kind of a proposal that we're making, that the governor has made, I think will help more people actually go back to CUNY, because like it's basically making it easy to do so on a part-time basis. You don't have to go full-time. You don't have to necessarily give up all of your job or other things that you're doing. And it makes it as easy as possible to go on a part-time basis and actually get some help in doing so.
What would you tell students looking to get from point A to point B? They want to go to school. They need the tap. They need the assistance. What would you tell them? What can they learn from what you're about ready to tell them right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I would tell them that, look, the first thing is there are a lot of good programs that help students stay in school and kind of make it all the way to that credential, because it's not enough just to enroll. You know, if you don't get that piece of paper at the end, your chances of getting a good job aren't going to be as good. And so not just with these state programs like tuition assistance, there's some fantastic community-based organizations all over the city, definitely in the Bronx, that are helping these students kind of with college persistence. So get a load on which organizations are there. Get all the help you can get, because we know how hard it is to stay in school. There's just a lot of things that get in the way. Life gets in the way, the pandemic, work, you know, expenses. But I think that, you know, we also would urge them to call their legislator, and ask them to support this proposal by the governor to make part-time students eligible.
Yeah, and Jonathan, you know, a lot of people had to maybe leave school or hold off going to school because they needed to get into the workforce. Check with your job. You may have a tuition refund program as a part of your benefit at the job that may be able to assist you with going back to school and getting a good education.
Great idea. And more companies are starting to do that. So absolutely.
Yeah. Jonathan, where can we go for more information?
Check out our report at nycfuture.org.
nycfuture.org. What is in that report?
What's that?
What is in that report?
We have all sorts of good data on the number of part-time students at every CUNY school in New York City. So it shows, for instance, how many are enrolled at Ostos Community College on a part-time basis. Actually, 47% of all Ostos students are part-time. But also it goes through all the other CUNY schools across the 5 boroughs. And it really kind of provides a little bit more of a push for legislators to do this, and really shows just why and how important this is.
Website again is?
nycfuture.org.
Jonathan Bowles, Executive Director for Center for an Urban Future. Jonathan, thank you so much. Great information.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Come back again, share more. We love it.
All right.
All right. We'll take a break. I've got a whole lot more coming up next right here on Open.